Hey. So, um, again, this is me just off the cuff. So I'm not super digitally savvy in the terms of like producing some amazingly quality videos. So, I mean, if you rocking with me right now, I guess in time, we get to some super high quality stuff. But I had this thought, and I'm working through it. So I'm interested in feedback and thoughts, right? In this, manifesting your destiny has become like this mantra for many people, and honestly, I am 100% believer in it. In fact, my entire essence of life and what I have and how I live, the peace that I found, has come from like positively manifesting these ideas. Now you can manifest negative ones too, but let's walk down this line with me right quick. My question that I'm pondering is manifesting your destiny a mysterious approach to somehow bringing into existence this idea of what you want without this stringent step-by-step approach? Or is it a logical expression of thought that says that I believe that I can bring into fruition a certain life environment if I put one foot in front of the other, moving in a specific direction to bring forth the life in which I desire. And what I mean by that is that as a kid, many of us had this idea, we're taught to want to be a doctor, right? And what we know that you can manifest that into your life, but that manifestation requires very specific one foot in front of the other, right? Step-by-step approach to get to becoming that doctor. But somehow this process eludes us in other areas. And what I'm curious is, do we lean to the side of manifesting our destiny in a more mysterious way when we lack the knowledge or the steps required to actually bring forth a certain idea? So let's say that I want financial freedom, and I want to be able to, move about life, the world, mostly as I see fit. But I don't have an amazing understanding of finances, right? So I'm beginning to mentally manifest this destiny that I want of financial freedom without the actual tools required to be able to have it. And so what happens is, maybe I go through life for some time, and the things that I measure financial freedom with actually shows itself to me mysteriously, because I am unaware exactly how to achieve it, right? And I begin to believe that is the process for that. But it never happens that way when we talk about education, when we talk about more tangible, when we talk about employment. None of that happens that way. You don't manifest these things without specific actions, right? And when you think about employment, right, you don't manifest the job you want without like building yourself with the qualifications to get that job. But somehow in some of these areas, I think where we don't lack all the information required, we lean on these ideas of manifesting our destiny to fill in the gaps of knowledge. And therefore, we stumble in the direction because we are thinking that way. And we take those stumbles in a positive way as, me manifesting it. But we don't look at the fallbacks as a failure of manifestation, because we haven't done the work, the proper steps in order to ensure that outcome in which we desire. So, help me out. What do you think? Is manifesting destiny more mysterious than it is calculated? More calculated than mysterious? Or is it a bit of both, which is what I believe, right? Because I remember being a kid growing up in poverty, and like I knew I would not live in poverty as an adult. Now, as a kid, I didn't quite know exactly how I was going to get that outcome, but what I did know is that it required me to move in a specific way, right? And what happened is that I began the process of moving in that way, observing things around me, and identified a path that would bring me to a life of abundance. I began to walk in that manner. And then here I am 20 plus years later, and like my life is fantastic, right? Like I get to travel the world. I get to do something I enjoy, having a positive impact in people's lives. Um, and like when you think retrospectively, and here, look, the magic part, right, is that now that I read books, a lot more books, and I'm hearing people's story, I manifested these things without knowing the specific steps, but I continue to work towards understanding them, right? So now I learned that it requires 10,000 hours of anything, become an expert at it. So if you're talking about doing something, you're willing to invest 10,000 hours in it, you could become really, really good at it. And I think in my leadership and in my career, I found that in what I do. But I manifested this, and now if I look retrospect and I've learned from others, now I know that, part of manifesting it is saying, I'm going to commit 10,000 hours over the next 5 or 10 years, or however many years needed to become an expert in this position or this thing that I want to manifest. It doesn't just accidentally happen. It's still a process. Whether you following the process or not, it comes out. And once you begin to get into it, I think that you're enlightened to understand the process that you took, so that now that I've manifested this particular lifestyle, that you can now share what you've learned through the process, so it'll help the next person manifest their life as well. It's just my thought process, right? My thought pattern is like, now go back and assess how I achieve and how I got where I'm at. And like, when you think about it, was it me mysteriously creating this world and this life, or was I more calculated? I think it was both. Mystery came in when I didn't know, and I kept myself open to knowing and growing and learning. And then once I understood a piece of the puzzle that would bring me further, I applied it. But at no point along this journey do I think I rejected any of it, rejected any of the steps, in a sense of saying that, I'm manifesting this, so I don't need to know the intricacies of this part of this step that I'm taking. I mean, for me, it's always been, as I journey, I want to learn and understand the process so that I can share it with others. And here I am now, hopefully sharing some of it with you. So mysteriously or calculated, I think they work hand in hand. I don't think that either one of them should be allowed to overturn the other. It's kind of like yin yang, right? It's a balance that has to be had, and you can't reject it. So when you think about manifesting financial freedom and abundance, then you still have calculated steps that have to go into that. And yes, occasionally, and I think in most, if not everybody's life, there's moments where there is some free fall of money that drops into your lap as a reward, right? Like there's been times in my career where me and my team didn't meet whatever financial requirements to get our bonus, but there were some things outside of our control that factored in, and like our leaders at that point in time, blessed us. Like I think that was manifesting positive energy. I didn't expect them to give it to me, but like I was grateful, and I looked in the universe and said thank you for providing me this extra bonus that I didn't quite earn because I didn't hit my metrics this particular time. And so I think that happens along the way of manifesting it, but that foundation has to be learned. I think time allows that, and then you continue to build upon that. So, let me know what you think. Mysterious, calculated, what's that balance look like? If you have any personal stories, I'd be interested in understanding. Thank you for sharing.